Hello, and welcome to another episode of Self Improvement for Women. I am your host, Hope Long, and today I have a very special guest with me. Her name is Lisa Taylor. She is a six-figure direct sales marketing leader. She's also a mindset coach and uses her mindset practices with her own team for direct sales. And she's been on an incredible journey. She is a breast cancer survivor. So, without further ado, Lisa, I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It is my honor to be here.
I'm so excited today. We have a lot to talk about.
Yes.
Let's start off a little bit with, your background and how you came into Labri, because Labri is like where it's at for you. It is a huge passion of yours. So, and maybe part of the audience probably doesn't know much about them. So let's talk about you and how you came into this and what you're about.
All right. Well, I am a mom of five. I have four almost adult and almost adult. I have one in high school and four college age. One just graduated from college, and then I have a bonus son that's in his 30s and married. And so, I I found myself. Let's just backtrack 10 years earlier in the middle of raising kiddos, really deep diving, and we had decided to homeschool, and so that was also a huge commitment that I had made to the family, to their education, all of it. And so in the midst of that, I was also struggling with adult acne. I never had a clear face ever. And so a friend invited me to her labri party, and she said, "Yeah, it's gonna wine and facials." And I'm like, "Okay, unless the house is burning down, I am going there. Don't call me." I was like desperate just to have some time for me because you just never have it. So I was introduced to the products 10 years ago, fell in love with how it felt. I know your samples are at the post office. You're going to absolutely love just that aloe difference because we use aloe as the first ingredient. I didn't do a lot of research prior to it. I was just looking for a solution for my acne. And I did find it. I found it in the natural ingredients that were in Libri's products, or still are in Libri's products, and just kind of went with it like, oh, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I can't really afford to buy everything, so I'm gonna host a party like we do and see if my friends like it. By the time my party rolled around, I had seen already some improvement in my acne. And I was like, you know what? We're living on one income. We're barely making ends meet. Like, it was like, pray to get to the end of the month and hope you have enough money by the end. And the stress on the marriage and all of that is a real thing. And so I thought, I can't, I'm committed to this. I can't really get a part-time job. What would I do since I'm home, during the day and the kids, and my husband's now retired firefighter. So he had this atypical schedule that you just couldn't, tell a boss you were going to not be able to come in because you didn't want to pay for childcare. So I was kind of felt like this was God's opening the door, like, okay, you could try this, you can set your own hours, you can be your own boss, you can do it however you want. And I jumped in. I was scared to death because I am not a sales lady, and I certainly didn't want to be like a skincare what makeup lady. Like, I hardly wore makeup back then. So it's been such an evolution, and I think that's what's been so fun for me is just growing myself in the process.
Yeah. And let's talk about the direct sales idea for a moment, because I know a lot of women, we've been approached by like Pampered Chef, we've been approached by Zaya, we've been approached by Mary Kay, Avon, all these different things. And quite honestly, some of the things are amazing and some of the things are not that great. And what you found with Labri is almost every product that you used yourself, you saw amazing result. And the story of Labri is actually mind blowing. And I'm shocked that I hadn't heard of it before, because this is something that is absolutely needed. Like, we always hear, oh, Avon has this great product, it's really good for you, blah 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 blah. But the story behind Avon is not near what Labri's got. So let's talk about Labri and how they even came into, because I love it, gave me goosebumps when you told me this story. So how did Labri even get started with their aloe based products?
Awesome. So, Labri, just so you in the audience know, Labri is founded by a husband and wife, which I give them tons of kudos. Like we were talking earlier, to be married and stay married is a
and
blessing
and
and,
be in
you know,
business
a
together.
challenge. But to be business partners, wow, what I have such a high respect for them. So it's Linda, the L, and Brian, and they're a husband and wife team, and um, they her, sh Linda was in the direct sales industry. She hated her little office job at age 24 and said, you know, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go in full bore. And so she joined a direct sales company at age 24. Went to the top of of her, you know, company, queen of sales, earned the car, the trips, everything. She was living the life, and her company went bankrupt. Like they went under, and so she started over with another company, and the same thing happened there. So she knew the power of direct sales. She knew what it had done in her own life, but she also knew that she wanted to build a company that was sustainable. That if she was going to help other people achieve their dreams, they weren't going to have to go through what she went through. Her husband supported her wholeheartedly, and he was working at a factory in Milwaukee. Labri is a Wisconsin-based company. Everything is manufactured in the U.S. It's cruelty-free. It's all of the things that you think of, the buzzwords out there. It's natural, pure ingredients. Um, and he was burned. He worked with metal every day. They manufacture lawnmower motors, and one day he was accidentally burned, like from the chest down to his legs, with this hot liquid aluminum, and they went through all the prescriptions and burn center, and a friend visited, and they were really kind of frustrated with the healing. They just weren't seeing the progress that they wanted, and a lot of wraps and pain. And their friend said, why aren't you using aloe vera? Like, it's God's natural solution to our skin. And so they got in trouble with the doctors a little bit, and started using this natural aloe. Um, and within like 3 or 4 days, his skin was visibly starting to heal. Like, wow, wow. 3 weeks later, his skin had completely healed. It was there was no scarring. Like it had done incredible things. And because of that, that was the inspiration. I mean, that tragedy became the inspiration and motivation to investigate using aloe as the first ingredient in their own skincare line. They're like, and Linda, you know, she was ahead of the times 24 years ago, because that's how old the company is. People weren't paying attention to ingredients. They don't today, to be
No,
honest.
no. And you would mentioned that there's a very stark difference in what the US allows for us to put on our skin versus what the UK allows for people to put on their skin. And I think it was somewhere over 1,500 in
1300
1,300 ingredients that are
in there.
banned in other countries
Mhm.
that the US allows. And so if you take a moment to think about that, and then I want you to think about disease, because we're going to talk about disease next. So think about all the things that we put on our bodies and into our bodies, both, that is allowed here in the US. And then think of our rates for cancer, whether it's skin cancer, breast cancer, colon cancer, all of those things. Um, and we have there is scientific proof to back this information up, but it is not distributed to us in a way that provides us the knowledge when we're choosing products on a shelf, right? We're at the store, we're like, oh great, this says it's going to solve my problem, throw it in the cart. Don't flip around the back and see it says, says several different things that you've never heard of. Don't bother to
Yeah.
investigate, right? Because we don't do that. That's not our job. That's the Federal Drug Administration's job, right? um
Hmm.
so unfortunately, yes, we don't know what we're putting on our skin when we're just throwing stuff into our cart, right?
Exactly.
um and when it comes to your health, um there's a lot that goes into that, and you have another incredible story. You are a survivor, and
Yes.
part of your drive and your mission with being with Labri is that it is natural and it's safe for your body, because you were undergoing a lot of stress at the time. You didn't know that that was having a huge effect on your health, but you were also using products that probably weren't the best. You were eating things that probably weren't the best, processed food, this da 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 da, you know what I mean?
Yes, for sure. For
so
sure.
so let's talk about um well, let's kind of maneuver here. So
Hmm.
when you came into Labri, you were the stay-at-home mom,
Hmm.
and you were, kind of looking for, I almost want to say that you were also at the time looking for something that was your own, because you were putting
Exactly.
yourself last on your own
Exactly.
list, right?
Exactly. And I think stay-at-home moms especially, but even working moms, and we're all working moms, let's be real here. But working outside of the home moms, we all have this innate um, desire to make everyone else happy. Whether that's our boss, we want to make sure that we're doing the right thing, or whether that's our husband or our kids, we want to make sure that everyone else is cared for and we don't get on the list. Like, if we're on the list, we're way at the bottom, and then other things just happen to be added above us. And I
Yeah.
think you're right. That's where I was, in the midst of homeschooling and stress. A lot of, living on one income. That's stressful. That is
Yeah.
just stressful. And, you know, four kids under tow and not feeling like I was using my gifts. I was, I have a master's degree in music education. I taught for 10 years music education. I am a professional. And then you go to the stay-at-home mom thing and you're like, I want to be here. I want to be here. This is what I want to do. I'm choosing this. But yet there's that battle, like, is there something more? I mean, and then you feel guilty because this is what you wanted, Lisa. Like, so you have that internal battle of, but I think I'm made for more than just this.
And to tag on to that, let's talk about the pressure about around being perfect, because I know you were around a lot of other moms who had it together. They were or had it together, right? Like it
Right.
appeared that they had it together. They were like the PTA moms, they were like the super soccer mom, they were like volunteering for everything at school. They also worked. They were high level corporate executives. Some of them were just, perfect vegan moms that were feeding their children, the absolute best, right? And so
Hmm.
on the outside, as an outsider looking at another person, we go, oh my God, they have it together. Like I need to be like that. I'm supposed to be that way. And
Right.
then in our own households, we've got the dirty kitchen floor. We've got paint brushes that are, laying in the dining room table because we had an art project that we did 3 days ago and we just didn't clean it up yet. And like, and those things, they pile up, and that's real life. Like that,
Right.
like this pressure to be perfect. I think some of it stems from our childhoods, right?
Right.
But even as we grow older, there's almost a unspoken competition between women that we
For
really are.
sure.
I think now we are starting to get away from that,
Hmm.
because it's more acceptable to talk about, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But that pressure to be perfect, it produces more stress than what it's worth, right?
For sure. I tell people I am a recovering perfectionist and a recovering people pleaser because that's really the trap that I found myself in, but I wasn't aware of it. I
Hmm.
think awareness, and that's where that mindset, so many of us are just on autopilot,
Hmm.
surviving the day, like, and when I say surviving, I mean surviving, it's not thriving. It's just like I got to get through the day. I got to get through the day. And why? Just to wake up and do it
And
all
do
over
it
again?
again. Yeah.
Like that grind is stressful and it's not fulfilling. It's not meeting our true passion, our purpose. And people aren't even aware. I mean, I would say most people are walking around unconscious in that state of just, well, I have to provide, I have to do this, I have to, should. And they're not, they get, thinking retirement is where it's at. And by the time they're retired, they may not even have their health.
Yeah.
So, part of my passion with my direct sales business is that mindset piece because I feel like in educating about ingredients, educating about the fact that this is our largest organ, that within 30 seconds something's absorbed into our bloodstream, and getting awareness on parabens, sulfates, the things that have the backing of research that are linked to disease.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, living your best life. Don't settle for just that mundane survival existence autopilot. I just gotta get through the day. I just gotta get through the day. That's where I was, and I'm on the other side going, I want to help you because there's so much more, and each of us are we're given God-given gifts, talents, passions, and that's what we need to be really getting quiet and asking, so what do I want?
Hmm.
What's important to me? How did God make me so that I can be a blessing and serve others
Yes.
and also be in alignment with really what I was meant to do?
Yeah. And who you truly are,
Yes.
rather than being the perfectionist that's always trying to keep up with the Joneses,
Right.
or feeling those, imposter syndrome, self-doubt about raising your own children. Like sometimes that it can really eat us up, right? And so I think a lot of it has to do with, being able to live while you're alive, not while you're 55, right? Not when
Right.
you're 55. Yeah.
Right.
So
Exactly.
let's give the audience then, let's give our ladies sitting at home some ideas, if you have some, on how to live our best and longest life.
Well, I would say prioritize yourself.
Mhm.
Like find find time to get quiet. And for me, I love journaling. And I don't make it a should, like, oh, I need to journal, or, oh, I haven't journaled. I don't make it pressure. I make it a gift to myself. It's a mindset switch between how I spend my morning. If I spend my morning like, oh, I gotta read this, I gotta do this, then it's just another academic, and it stays here. But getting in touch with your heart, that's where it's at. And if that's, you have a passion for painting, or you have a passion, you don't even know what your passion is. You got to get quiet and allow your heart to speak to you, to know what it is that you really want. you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
that's I
We've
think my biggest suggestion is just take a walk out in nature. Find your happy place, whatever that is. If that's journaling, if that's meditating, if that's taking a walk in nature, find that solace so that you can actually get in touch with that inner you that is beaming and bursting with unique, beautiful talents and gifts that you probably haven't even, recognized, or maybe I know for one of my teammates, we were talking and I was helping her, coaching her, just what do you want? What do you want? And all of a sudden, during that session, she had this light bulb. She's like, "Oh my gosh." She said, "This just came up for me." She said, "I've always wanted." They have three kids, and um, they're all in sports. And she's like, way back when, we had talked about building a gym like right next to our house, like a full-size gym, so that kids could come, they could practice, I could help them. That she's a teacher, so she wanted to incorporate that mindset piece with the kids, visualizing their success as they're walking the balance beam, all of that. And that came up to her as we were coaching, and she's like, wow, I haven't thought about that in like 15 years. And it was a hidden dream that life and all the shoulds, all the to dos had buried.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to bring it back to the surface and go, all right, is this what you want? Because let's use, your direct sales business to fund that dream. Like,
Yeah.
and that's the motivation. That's like, oh yeah, like,
And
so
that's
that's just one example.
that's something for people to think about too. I know a lot of our audience is entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs. So as you're getting into your business, not only, okay, yes, you're thinking of the business and how you're helping people, but what are you doing on the back end of that to fuel your fire, right? So like what is the fuel? Like what is the real, the deepest and truest why? So like
Yeah.
we all have the why of, well, I want to support my family. Well, I want to be able to take my children on vacation. Well, I want to be able to buy this vehicle so that my 16-year-old, when he gets his license, he'll be ready to go. Like we all have those whys. Those are universal whys that we all want for our kids. But
Mhm.
internally, we have other whys, right? Like the very beginning why was like for me, I was like, I wanted to make six figures so that I could invest, and then I eventually want to build, I want to have franchises that I can pass down to my kids, but I want it to be a franchise that I'm really passionate about. And so, then I start thinking, okay, it gets deeper and it's deeper and it's deeper, and like you
Mhm.
find that it's a connection to something that you love or that you're super
Mhm.
passionate about, that stems from almost like childhood, right? Like it's so
Yes,
crazy, the deeper you go, and the more important it becomes to you, right? The more,
definitely.
and the easier that dream is to actualize because your
Right,
truest why is shining, right?
right. Exactly.
We talk a lot about that on this show. And like the other half of this is, yes, you have to prioritize yourself, because at the end of the day, the only person that's working towards your dreams is you.
Mhm.
It's your dream.
Right,
Nobody else can hold that dream for you. Nobody else can materialize that dream for you. It has to come from you so that it will exist in exactly the way that you believe it should, right?
right.
Like I think a lot of times we get caught up and we, start passing stuff off to people like, oh, well, when I make six figures, I'll hire somebody to do this and da 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 da. They don't hold the same dream as you. So you have to make
Right.
sure that when you are at that place where you're ready to materialize, that you are taking, I guess, like if you're not prioritizing yourself at that time, then what you're materializing is not going to be connected to you in your heart, right?
Right. Exactly.
I think,
Exactly.
and for women that are interested in getting into to direct sales,
Mhm.
do your research and find a product that you're passionate about. Like maybe it is
Yes.
Avon. Like maybe you are passionate about Mary Kay. Maybe
Mhm.
you're like really into LeBri right now because obviously it's amazing.
Right.
But make sure you're passionate about it. Like you
Mhm.
know their story, you know their why, and it resonates with you. And like for you, you had a personal experience with this. It
Yep.
was a not it was a personal experience, and with them they had trauma that kind of
Mhm.
turned into a accidental amazing business, right?
Mhm.
So it has to be connected to you. You can't just, I think sometimes I've tried Mary Kay, I've tried selling Avon, I've tried selling those things, but
Mhm.
because my heart really wasn't in it,
Yep.
I was
Yep.
just kind of like, it just kind of sat there for a while, and I was fine with that.
Right.
And then, like, when I wasn't making money, I was frustrated because I was like, why am I not making money? Well,
Mhm.
if it's not aligned with you, the money's not going to
Right.
come to you.
Exactly.
So that is
Exactly.
something to think about as well. And so put yourself on the front of the burner, not the back burner. Put yourself on the
Ex
front of the burner so that all the good things can come to you and
Mhm.
your dream can materialize for you, right?
Exactly. And you're the only one that knows what that inner desire is. And I think as moms in particular, we really have a hard time even asking ourselves that question.
Yeah.
Like we don't even give ourselves permission to ask the question, let alone spend the time getting quiet to figure out what that answer is.
Because we don't want to be selfish. We want to
Right.
be selfless, right? And there's
Right.
this stigma because
Yep.
we're mothers, we're wives, we work at
Yep.
our jobs, we are daughters, we take care of our parents sometimes, like as we get older. So we have all these people that depend on us. So
Mhm.
how selfish would it be for us to be like, well, I want this?
Mhm.
It's okay. You should
It's
want
okay.
something. You should definitely want something.
Exactly. And I think for me, this journey, I mean, it has been through direct sales. I've learned how to dream. I've learned how to get quiet, to prioritize myself, to realize that I have value. I don't have to have a hat that says mom, that says employee, I don't have to wear that. Just me. Just plain old me. I have value. And Bob Proctor is one of the late Bob Proctor is one of my mentors. I absolutely love him, right? And he says, and I'm probably not going to say it exactly, but he has this, it's probably not his even. It's a poem that says, if I want to be free, I got to be me. Not the me that my husband thinks I should be, not the me that my kids think I should be, not the me that my boss thinks I should be. If I want to be free, I got to be me. But the problem is we don't know who me is, right? We don't really take the time to get in touch with our own self, our own passions, even allow it to surface. And I think that's what gets me jazzed about what I get to do with my team in direct sales is that's what I get to help them nurture and discover through my coaching.
Yes. And Len, we're gonna talk a little bit more about LeBri, but I want to ask you this. Since and I want and I'm asking you this because I know women at home are sitting like, okay, well, I'm gonna start doing that, but like, what if it doesn't work? Or what if X, Y, and Z? In
Yep.
your experience, how has getting in touch with you made you a better version of yourself for the people that you wanted to please, for the people that you care about?
So that is an awesome question because I think that's really at the heart of my transformation is I went from thinking that, putting myself first was selfish, but I want to bring in one Bible verse because this has been like aha, and it's well known. It's love your neighbor as yourself, right? We've heard that. It's a cliche kind of thing, but we have stopped love your neighbor, right? Love your neighbor, love your neighbor. Who's your neighbor? Your neighbor is, your husband and your kids and your physical neighbor and your people at work and neighbor, 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 neighbor. But the end of that verse never gets talked about. As yourself. As you love yourself, love your neighbor.
Yeah.
That has been like mind blowing for
Ooh, I
me
got
because,
chills.
right? Because we truly can't love our neighbor until we have a piece about who we are, that the people pleaser thing. I mean, people aren't, not everyone's going to gel with me. Not everyone's going to even like me. I have to be okay with that. And that has been a process for
Mhm.
me as a recovering people pleaser, you know? But but in my own life, I've seen me standing up for me, and
Mhm.
I'll use the example like using my voice. I, because of the people pleaser, I would always just go, well, all right, whatever. And I would like just stuff it. You
Bury
know,
it.
if I had
Yeah.
a feeling, if I had an opinion that was not, gonna float well with my spouse or my boss or whatever, I would just stuff it. Oh, just deal with it, Lisa, just deal with it. Well, that stuffing, I believe, led to disease in my life.
Mhm.
I did not I did not honor myself. I did not respect myself. I just was like a doormat in some ways. Other ways, I don't think I went to that level. But post cancer, I started to use my voice. I started to realize, you know what? My opinion matters. I don't, it doesn't matter if you don't like what I'm going to say. As long as I'm saying it respectfully, I need to vocalize and appreciate that I don't have to agree with everybody on everything, and my voice matters. And I I've done this specifically a couple of times, um, in my marriage. I can like recall very specific, and it was scary because I was like, oh my gosh, like this is not what I usually do. Um, and it was like, standing up, saying what I feel, and he didn't like it initially, but now he's saying, you know what, I'm gonna get this because this is what I want. And I'm like, he's seeing me live out that, you know what, it's okay to have wants, desires. It's not selfish. You're still, you're not self-absorbed. I mean, women, I don't think it's like not even possible, because we have so many people that need us.
Mhm.
So to have ourselves on the list at the top, love yourself so that you can love your neighbor.
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's been transformational in my marriage, with my kids, obviously with my team, as I'm nurturing that and helping them to take that to their family. Because here's what you said, oh, if I jump on direct sales and it doesn't work, right?
Mhm.
Well, we're whole people. We're whole people. And so when we show up to our job, we show up to our direct sales business. I, I, I'll give the example. I would have like an argument with my husband, and then I would go to my office, and I'd be like, how in the heck am I supposed to like make a sale or like get my head back in the game
Mhm.
to do what I need to do here with my team and with my business? I can't. I have to take care of the relationship. I have to take care of, all of the emotions that just got stirred up before. So when we're thinking about, success in anything, we have to think of ourselves as whole beings, that we're not compartmentalized. We can't just go off and be a rock star over here and, be failing over here. It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I'm learning myself, and also modeling and coaching my team. I have one gal in particular that, she uncovered all of the lies that she literally has on repeat in her mind from childhood. you know you're not going to be good enough. You barely graduated. How could you ever see yourself as a success? And she wasn't aware, because we're just on autopilot. Those voices, we don't even realize. And then all of a sudden, through the coaching, she was like, oh my gosh, like, Lisa, if you knew how mean I was in my self talk to myself, like, because she's the sweetest thing, most encouraging. Like you would never guess that all of that was going on underneath in her
Mhm.
mind. And I gave her an assignment to write it all down. We got together and we burned that 4 pages of lies so that it was a symbolism of, yeah, that is not me. That
Yeah.
is not me. And I share that example because that's what people are missing,
Mhm.
specifically like in the direct sales industry. I see it, people other like, well, I'm doing this. I followed the the methods of what I need to do, made my list, I talked to this many people, yada yada. But if they don't have it in their heart, they don't have the belief, they have got the the imposter syndrome that's going on constantly, and they're
Mhm.
not even aware of it, they're not going to have success.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Lisa, thank you so much for coming on today. I could talk to you for hours. Um, okay, so you guys, so yes, Labri, and it's amazing. It is aloe based.
Mhm.
And if you want to connect with Lisa, all of her stuff is here at the bottom. If you want to know more about Labri, get with Lisa. She's got a great sample pack right now that she is sending, and it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to try mine. I'm so excited. And so Labri's website too, as well, with Lisa's tag on there. So you guys can check that out and kind of get a feel for it. And of course, you can also reach out to Lisa just to talk. So maybe you're a survivor of some kind. Maybe you're a struggling stay at home mom right now. Maybe you just need some help with your mindset because you've been talking to yourself not so kindly. Lisa is your woman, right? She will help you and she will hold your hand and we will get that backbone straightened out, right?
That's right. That is my
Amazing.
heart. And I feel just so honored to walk with other women and help them to really live their best life.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
that's what it's about.
we don't know when our last day is. You don't have to have a terminal illness
To start
to
living right now.
start
Yes.
living your best life. Exactly.
Yes. Yes. Lisa, thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right, you guys, we will see you on the next one.